So we're going to start standing today. So we'll start standing like a mountain. So we're going to bring our feet under our hips. Okay, try and get those hips, knees, heels of the feet in a straight line going into the ground. We could lean forward onto the balls of our feet and back onto our heels and side to side. Just notice where your weight goes naturally in your feet. And then what we want to do is try and get the weight evenly distributed through our feet. So if we imagine a triangle, one point of the triangle at the heel, one on the outer edge of the foot and one at the ball of the foot, trying to push all the weight down into the ground. So for me, my feet always tilt out naturally, so I have to focus on pushing that big toe and the ball of the foot into the ground, but yours might be different. So we're standing tall. Imagine our spine stacked in a straight line, the crown of our head is lifting gently towards the ceiling. Our shoulders, we can roll them up to our ears and then back, shoulder blades dropping down the back. Our belly, you just want to tuck it in, pull it in slightly, pull that belly button back towards the spine. That's going to help us lift up tall. Our hands, we can have our fingers together coming down our sides like that. And we just have a soft gaze forward. Can take a few breaths, standing tall like a mountain. And then try just opening your arms up to the side with our fingers spread wide. This can help us open our shoulders, so our shoulder blades still rolling back and down. Take a few breaths here, standing tall. And then we're just going to mobilize our spine. So as we breathe in, I want you to lift one heel, turn the opposite direction, and as you breathe out, you can come back, lift the other heel. We're going to swing a bit like a palm tree, okay? We need to lift that back heel so that we can turn our body properly, so our hips can come round and face the side. Once you've got the foot movement, you can bring the arms up high, imagining those long leaves of a palm tree, just gently swaying in the wind. And as you breathe in one way, and out back the other way, and in one way. Okay, 5 of your own breaths in and out. You might be able to get the arms higher and lean back. And then we're going to carry on with the turning, but just going to swing our arms. So the front arm is going to the shoulder, the opposite shoulder. The back arm is just touching the lower back. So it's just going like this. Might want to go a little bit faster. Still need to lift the heel. And then we're just going to swing side to side. So we're not turning this time, our hips can stay facing forwards. Or we just swing our upper body. Just loosen up our spine. Try and release. And then you can just come to standing again, standing like a mountain. Let me see. Okay, so I've just been swinging side to side. Get rid of that. to loosen up the spine. So if you've just joined, you can do this, just gently release. We're going to do a moon salutation, which is good for getting a bit of energy flow in like a grounded way. Okay, we're going to start in a mountain posture. I'm going to demonstrate it here. So traditionally you start at the top of the mat here. So do whatever's good for you in your home. So we start by standing like a mountain. You can either practice it like we have with the feet in line with the knees and hips, or you can bring your feet closer together, touch the toes, and bring the feet so the outside edges of your feet are parallel. Okay, so our weight is grounding down into the floor. Our kneecaps are lifting up, help us have strong legs. We're just tucking in that belly button, suck it in a little bit towards the spine. That's going to help us lift our chest. And our head is just the crown of our head gently lifting towards the sky, so we have a nice long spine. Our shoulders are going back and down, shoulder blades down our back and our hands to our side. So to start with, we're going to raise our hands above our head. So you can take a breath in to prepare, and then we raise our hands above our head. So make sure, we're going to go through it slowly together. It's a sequence of postures, and then we'll go through it again afterwards more quickly. When we raise our hands above our head, we always want to be careful that the shoulders aren't raising up to our ears, they're still back and down. And you're aiming for your arm to be in line with your ear, and our arms to be straight. You can have the arms open if that's too difficult. So we're going to lean to one side, so breathe in and then lean. So we're imagining our hands being gently pulled up to the sky on that side in a diagonal. Take a few breaths here. And then on an in breath, come back to the center. And out breath, lean the other way. In breath, back to the center. Okay, from here, we're going to step to the side. So if you're at the front of your mat, you can step back. Otherwise, just step to the side. Our feet are wide and they're pointing towards the front corners, so they're at diagonals, and our arms are going to come like this. This is a squat position, so I'm just going to slowly let our hips, our bum lower down to the ground, and you're trying to keep your knees back so that they're above the ankles. Okay, so we're just going down into a squat as much as possible. Try and keep the knees back, and just lower the bum and hips, lift up, our arms come to the side. Okay, and then we're going to bend our elbows, our palms facing each other. Gently look up. And this is a goddess position. It's supposed to be very grounding. Just stay here for 5 or so breaths in and out in your own time. Keep the belly tucked in, head lifting high, hips dropping to the ground. On an in-breath, come up. And we're just going to move the feet. So the back, what will be the back foot, is going to turn to the outside edges in line with that side of the mat. And the front foot's going to turn towards the front. Breathe in to prepare, we're going to do a triangle. So as you breathe out, you're just going to hinge from the waist forward. And then just gently let the front arm drop to the leg, and the back arm's going to lift up. We're aiming for a straight line. So from the bottom hand all the way up to the top, a straight line. You might be able to get your fingers on the floor. If you can't, you can just rest them on your leg. Both legs are straight, so focus on the back heel and the back foot pushing down into the ground. Keep that front leg as straight as possible. And then you can look up towards the top hand. We're trying to bring the shoulders, chest back and open. Then we're going to drop the top hand. Okay. So our hands are either side of our front foot. You can stay there. I'll just turn so you can see me. So we drop the hands. Our hands come either side of the foot. Our legs are straight, so if you can't reach the floor, that's okay. You can just rest your hands on your leg, wherever you can reach to, and you're going to relax the head. So as you breathe in, you can imagine the head being gently pulled away from you. And as you breathe out, relax down. See if your head might come closer, and then just relax there for a few breaths. Okay, and then from there, we're going to come into a lunge. So the back leg, lift the heel, you're on the toes, lower the knee down. Okay, we want our front leg, the knee to be above or behind the ankle. So if you need to shuffle your feet a little bit, that's fine. We're going to just put our hands, both hands on the inside. So the bent knee, that hand goes on the inside, touching the foot, and then our other hand here. And then we're going to come up, bring our hands above our head, and then breathe out, hands back down. Then we're going to lift the back leg if you can, and we're going to come to a half squat. So the front heel is going to lift. Okay, the front heel lifts and we're on our toes, that knee's bent. The back leg straightens to the side and our toes point to the ceiling. Stretching that inner thigh and opening the hip. And then we're just going to switch to the other side. So the bent knee side, the heel is lifted. The back leg, the heel is resting on the ground. The toes are to the ceiling. And then we're going to reverse and go backwards on the other side. So we come into this lunge position on the opposite side. We're going to breathe in, lift up, breathe out, and back down. Going to lift that back leg. Okay, both legs straight now. Our body and our head is just coming directly over our front leg, so our hips are facing forwards. As we breathe in, imagine the crown of our head lifting away, and as we breathe out, see if it can relax anymore, and you can relax the head and take a couple of breaths there. And then we're going to come to triangle. So I'm just going to pivot that back foot so it's facing forwards. The bottom hand can be on the ground or on the leg, and the top arm is just going to lift up, look to our arm. It's better to be higher up and be able to lift up if you feel like you're sinking when you've got your hand lower down. And on an in-breath, lift up. we're going to come to that goddess position. So our toes are facing the front corners. We're going to drop the hips and the bum back, knees, trying to keep them above the ankles. And we're going to bend our elbows. So palms facing each other at a slight diagonal. So this is goddess. We feel that energy from the sky going down into the earth, trying to help us ground and be strong. Let's take 5 breaths here. You might be able to drop your hips lower. Remember to keep that belly tucked in a little to help your posture. And on an in-breath, we're going to come up. Our feet are going to come together. If you want, you can go to the front of the mat, like this. So back to the start. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out, lean one way. Breathe in to prepare, back to the center. Breathe out and lean the other way. In back to the center and out to the sides. You can bring our hands together. Take a few breaths in your own time. Okay, so we're going to do this again, but faster so it will flow together. Do you have any questions about any of the postures or movements, anything you weren't sure of or you couldn't see when I was demonstrating? Use unmute or type in the chat if you want. Okay, standing like a mountain. Okay, standing like a mountain. So you could be at the top of the mat, or you could be like me in the middle. Shoulders back and down, standing tall. Our weight is just pushing down into the ground. Feet can be in line with the hips and knees, or they can be closer together with the big toes touching. Take a few breaths to prepare. Then breathing in, and breathe out, raise the hands above our head, palms together. And on an out breath, lean to the side. And on an out breath, back to the middle. Breathe in, breathe out to the side. Breathing back to the middle. It doesn't matter if you're a little bit slower than me, or I guess if you're faster than me, it depends if you know what the next move is. Try and go in time with our breath, okay? So then we're going to step out to the side, so we're at the front, so you can step back into that squat. And just stay here for 3 breaths. Breathe in, breathe out into triangle. So you might need to shuffle the feet, front foot facing forward, back foot to the side, look up to that hand. On an out breath, come down over the leg, relax those arms. Pivot the back foot a little so it's comfortable for you. Keeping both legs straight. Lifting the kneecaps so feel nice and strong in the legs. I'm going to lift that back foot, back heel. I'm going to come into a lunge. If you need to shuffle, you can. We're going to come up, breathe in, and then breathe out down to the ground. We're going to bring both hands in front of our foot. We're going to lift that heel and we're going to come into a half squat. Bent leg, heel is lifted. Straight leg, the heel is on the ground, the toes pointing high. Then we're going to go to the other side. And then we're going to go to the lunge on the other side. Bring our hands back to either side of the foot. Breathe in, up to the sky, palms together, breathe out. Lift that back leg. Bring it in if you need to, straighten both legs. See if the head will come down to the leg. We're going to do triangle next, so you need to pivot your foot. So it's pointing straight in line with the mat, front foot facing forward. Back of our hand against our foot or our leg. Top arm lifts up to the sky, look up. Keep those legs straight if you can. Breathe in, come up. Goddess squat. Whoa. Can be here for 5 breaths again. Breathe in, come up. Step your feet together. We're going to tilt to the side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And out to the other side. And then back in. Breathe out. We can swing just like we did at the start. Just loosen up a little bit. And then we're going to stand like a mountain. Standing tall. Arms, hands pushing down into the earth. Take 5 breaths. Okay, so we're going to come to a lizard, which is similar to one of the movements we were doing in that sequence. We're going to start in a squat position. So our front lunge position, our front foot is facing forward, our back leg is going to go back, our knee can come down to the ground. You can see what's most comfortable for you. If you want to have your toes like that, flexed on the ground, or if you want to have your foot flat, top of your foot on the ground. We're going to do the lizard position, okay? So this is good for hip opening and stretching those legs. We're going to bring our hands on the inside. So the arm that's the same side as the bent knee, the hand can come down flat on the ground and touch the edge touching the foot, and our other hand comes the other side. So we want our hips to be facing forwards like that, if the headlight's facing forwards as we come down. Our hands to be roughly underneath our shoulders where it's comfortable. So to distribute the weight in our hands, we want our palms to be open like this, with our middle finger pointing forwards. And just like we did with our feet at the start, you think about the hands. Where is that weight going from your body? Is it going into your wrist? If so, try and push it forward into the palm, into, I guess, the equivalent of the ball of the foot, ball of the hand. Okay, you can just move around with the weight. We want it to be evenly distributed. And then we're going to lean forward. So if you need to move your back leg back, you can. Okay, you can move around anytime you need to, if it's uncomfortable. We're just going to lean forward with our upper body. So lean forward as far as is comfortable for you, okay? You might want to stay here like this, upright. Or if that's really comfortable for you, you can come down, put your forearms on the ground, put your head on the ground. If that's comfortable for you, we're just going to relax here in this position for 15 breaths in and out in your own time. If you're faster than me, you can do a few more, okay? 15. And look down to the ground, relax your head. As you breathe out, see if you can sink down further. You can also come out before 15 if it's feeling like a bit much. Okay, we'll just move to the other side. So, lunge position. You can try it with your toes on the ground or with your foot flat to the ground. And the hands are going to come in front, one touching the edge of the hand, touching the inside of the foot, the other hand underneath your shoulder. Make sure in that front foot weight is evenly distributed. Think about your hands, middle finger pointing forward, pushing the weight. So if there's part of your hand that lifts up, so for me that kind of ball of my, I don't know what it's called actually, like the ball of the foot, ball of the hand, that lifts up if I just relax. So I'm focusing on pushing that down, but notice in your own hands where the weight goes, where it doesn't go, and try and push down into those parts where it should be going to get even distribution. And we're going to lean forwards. And if you want to, you can come onto your forearms. You can relax down with your head on the ground if it reaches, or you can just stay up like this. And as you breathe in, thinking about head extending, and as you breathe out, you can see if you can come a little lower. When you feel like you've gone as far as you can just rest there. So we're going to do for 15 breaths. When you're ready to come out, just bring your knees together. We'll just rest, stretch those hips. We're just going to do another lunge position, okay? So bring one foot forward. This time, you can see if it's easy with the flat foot. For me, it's easier with my toes on the ground. Okay, we're going to breathe in. Bring our arms above, just like we did in the moon salutation. Okay, you're aiming for your arms to be in line with your ears. If you've got tight shoulders or anything, you can always have them further forwards. Okay, so as we breathe in, the arms come up. And as we breathe out, the hands are going to come down to the ground. See if your head can touch your knee, and just relax the head. And then as we breathe in, as the arms come up, we're straightening that front leg and pointing our toes to the ceiling, so our heels on the ground. And as we breathe out, put the foot down, bend the knee, see if your head can touch the knee. And as we breathe in, straighten the front leg, heel on the ground, toes to the ceiling. Okay, we're going to do this for 5 breaths in your own time, with your own slow breath. If you feel any discomfort in the knee, so carry on, a few more. You can either put a blanket under your knee or you can just roll your mat that's doubled over so there's more cushioning for your knee. Okay, we're just going to go the opposite side. So, lunge position. As we breathe in, our arms come up, hands together, and as we breathe out, hands come down. Our head's aiming to touch that knee. It's fine if it doesn't touch. And then as we breathe in, hands up, straighten that front leg. Heels on the ground, toes pointing towards the ceiling. We're lifting here in a straight line. And as we breathe out, foot comes down. See if our head can relax towards that knee. 5 breaths in your own time. As our hands come together above our head, you can look up towards them if it's comfortable for your neck. And then we're just going to come to a tabletop, all fours tabletop position. I'm going to imagine that I might need to wriggle the back around, see if we can get it to the position that feels most flat like a table for you. You don't need a mirror, it doesn't really matter how it looks, just where does it feel like it's in the middle for you? And then we're going to do the cat-cow position. So as we breathe in, our belly button drops to the ground, our tailbone lifts up to the sky, and our shoulders come back and down. Our head is lifting up. And as we breathe out, the tailbone tucks under, the head drops down, and the belly button's lifting towards the spine. You can imagine a cat when it stretches out its back, and its back curves up to the ceiling, okay? So as we breathe in, belly button dropping down to the ground, tailbone and head coming high. Imagine if there was a bony cow, you might be able to see its shoulder blades poking out. Okay, that's what we're thinking of. And as we breathe out, okay. Just keep going with your own breath. So in, belly button down, the cow, those bony shoulder blades poking out. And as you breathe out, belly button lifts. Just like that cat stretching. One more time. And then just put your toes together so they're touching. Bring your knees wide apart on the mat. And just lean back. So our hands still stretching out. Pushing our body back, and we're aiming for our bum to come down onto our feet. Now head, if it will reach, the forehead could just rest on the ground. And then we're going to come up. We're going to do the pigeon pose, also for the hips. If you were here last week, you might remember it. So if you know it and you're sure you know how it the form for your body in pigeon, you can go into it. So this is what we do. We're in all fours. We bring our knee, I'm going to go with my right knee to my right wrist. Okay, and then lengthen the back leg out. And we just shuffle the foot to the front leg forward. Okay, the first position is for the heel, okay, to be pointing into your groin. So if you're there, focusing on our hips facing forwards, okay? Our hips, because one side is going to want to lift higher than the other. We're focusing on trying to get them even height. Our back foot, okay, the top of the foot is flat to the ground. You can move it back if you need to. Our shoulders are back and down, and we're just gently looking ahead. Now you might be able to shuffle your foot forward, okay? In which case you can bring it further forward. You might be able to bring it all the way to touch the other wrist, okay, which is the full position where you shuffle your leg so that front leg here is like that in line with the top of the mat. Okay, we're just going to stay here. So with that front leg, the bit that's on the ground, the weight should be going into the outside of, so it's like the outside of the calf, okay? The outside of the leg if possible. Okay, so staying here. What you can do, if you've got a blanket, you might be, so some people, their hips are loose and maybe both hips are on the ground in this position. But if they're not, okay, like if you're like me, you can put something under the bum, so the sides, where the leg's bent at the front. If you've got a block or a book that's the right height, or you can get a blanket and fold it so it's the right height, you can just put that under your bum. That's going to help you because that's bringing, once it's the right height, that's bringing the ground closer to you. It's going to help you keep the hips straight. To get more of a stretch while you're in pigeon, you can bring, it's a bit like with the lizard, you can bring your elbows and forearms down to the ground. And if that's comfortable, you can bring your hands, just fold them in front of you, bring your head down to the ground. Making sure when you lean forward, when you relax your upper body, your hips aren't coming out of alignment, okay, still trying to keep them level. And you can just relax here. Hip opening exercises are supposed to be really good for releasing emotion and tension. And of course, if it's not comfortable, you can come back up or you can come out of the position. You're gonna come out and do the other side, so just lift that back foot, put the toes on the ground so you can lift the leg. Shuffle the front foot back across to its side, its right side. And then we can come back and do the other side. So I was talking a lot actually on that side. So you might have been there for a long time. We're going to do the other side. So from a tabletop position, the knee goes to the wrist. The back leg is going to shuffle back. The front foot, bent knee leg, the foot is going to shuffle to the side. Might be pointing into your groin, or it might have gone past and be coming up here towards your other wrist. Find the position that's comfortable for you. Remember, our shoulders back and down away from our ears. Our hips facing forwards that way. And see if you can tell if one hip's lower than the other, and then just try and maneuver a little bit so they're at the same level, or get a rolled up blanket or a block and put it under your bum on the side where there's a gap. Or more of a gap. And we're just going to stay here, so you can stay like this. So you can put your forearms on the ground, your hands flat on the ground. And if you want to, you can cross your arms and drop your head down. You might be able to just relax there. See if you need to shuffle your back leg back at all to get a good stretch. The top of your foot is pointing, is pushing into the ground. You can come out if it's uncomfortable at all. Just stay for a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to lift that back leg, push the toes into the ground, shuffle the front foot across to its correct side. And then we're just going to sit back. You can do a child's pose, toes together, knees wide. Just stretch those arms forward. You could relax the arms at the side. Or cross them in front and rest your head for a few moments. Imagine someone pushing down on your lower back gently so that your bum pushes down further towards your heels if it's not already there. We are just gonna lie on our backs. Bring our knees up to our body. Hugging our knees, if that feels good, hug your knees, roll side to side. Okay, we're going to do the happy baby position. So our feet just come to the side, we bend our knees. We're imagining that our knee is going to come down here by the armpits. That's the position we're going for. And then pull up. You're going to hold your leg wherever you can, and you might be able to hold your foot either on the outside or on the inside. Okay, for me, outside's easy. But if you can't reach the foot, it's okay. Just hold your leg or rest your hands on your leg wherever they reach. So in this position, wherever you're holding, we can try and pull our legs down so our knees go closer to the ground outside our armpits. And we're just going to roll around. This is the happy baby, so you can do whatever feels good for you. You might want to roll, you might want to stay still, okay? Give your back a massage, stretch out those hips that we've been working a lot. Okay, and then bring your feet together on the ground. And just do a supine twist. So you're going to stretch your arm out to the side. I'm a bit close to the wall, so I'm just going to put mine here. Okay. Our knees are together. Our heels are touching, our toes are touching, and what we're going to do is let our knees just drop down to the ground and try and keep both feet, knees, and hips stacked on top of each other. So you can breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, drop the knees to the side. And we want the shoulders to stay on the ground. If the opposite side shoulder starts to lift, then it means you just need to keep your knees a bit off the ground. Okay. And the head can turn the opposite way. And then we're going to breathe in and do the opposite direction. So knees drop to the side, stay stacked. Head looks the opposite direction, shoulders stay on the ground. If your shoulder's lifting, so you need to keep your knees a bit off the ground, you can. If you've got a blanket or a block handy, just put that under there to help you relax so you're not straining to keep them off the ground. Back to the middle, drop to the opposite side. Head faces the opposite direction to the knees. Breathe in back to the middle. Breathe out to the side. Head faces away. Back to the middle. Okay, and then we're going to come to the Shavasana pose. So even though we're on the ground, we can still imagine our shoulders coming back and down our spine. If you need to wiggle a bit, you can. What can help is to try and hug yourself and then put your arms out. You can get a good shoulder position. See where you feel comfortable. Our palms are facing up to the sky. Our hands are a little bit away from our body. It could be closer, it could be a bit further, wherever feels comfortable. And then we're just going to stretch out our legs straight down the mat. And our legs and our feet relax and roll out. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable too. Just going to rest here for a few minutes, let our body absorb this yoga practice. Just breathing normally for a few more minutes. If any thoughts come, just let them pass by like a cloud. Let them go and focus your attention back on your breath, your body lying on the ground. When you're ready, you can just start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. Roll onto one side, just lie there for a few moments. And then come up to sitting. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I enjoyed practicing with you. Stop the recording.